Welcome once again to the Ohio State of Mind, a show powered by Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio. Alongside Tyler Danburg, I'm Caleb Spinner. We're going to talk men's hockey today. A big weekend for the Buckeyes on the ice here, starting off Thursday night at home against Michigan for senior night, and then hitting the road to go to Cleveland on Saturday to First Energy Stadium for the 2023 face-off on the lake, concluding their season series with the Michigan Wolverines there. And then we got to talk men's basketball. They have had a rough go of it recently, but two big opportunities for Big Ten points, for Big Ten wins here over the weekend. We'll talk about those, get you everything you need to know about Ohio State on the hardwood. But first, make sure you're following the Ohio State of Mind on Twitter at State of Mind OSU, and follow Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio on all of our social media accounts at sgsr.osu on Instagram and sgsr_OSU on Twitter. It's where you find the latest about our broadcasts and certain club activities that we do and post about on Instagram and Twitter. Tyler, let's start off with men's hockey. Big game on Thursday. Number 10, Ohio State. Number 4, Michigan. The final regular season home series of the season for Ohio State. It's also senior night for the Buckeyes. They have face-off on the lake Saturday in Cleveland. There have been several Ohio State newcomers who have had quick success this season. Coming to mind immediately, Stephen Halliday and Tyler Duke. No doubt their success has been at least partially due to the leadership of this senior class, right?
Absolutely. We got to talk to freshman defenseman Tyler Duke yesterday, and he was talking about the impact that the seniors have had on him, making sure he's been acclimated and has gotten used to the college game. And these 13 seniors, including 2 fifth years, they have been crucial in helping these underclassmen get acclimated. And I think that's been something that they've done the last 2 years, because you look at it last year too, Caleb, a lot of freshmen on this Ohio State team last year, Georgi Merkulov, Jakub Dobesh, Mason Lohrei are the first 3 that come to mind. I mean, there are a lot of guys that have stepped up over the last 2 years, and a lot of that can be attributed to the impact that the upperclassmen and this year's seniors have made.
No doubt that also passes up too. So when Lohrei, if Lohrei and Dobish stay with Ohio State long enough to become seniors, if they don't get called up to their respective NHL organizations before that. But my whole point being, if the younger players here get to the point where they get to be senior leaders, you got to imagine that development that they had when they were freshmen, knowing what helped them succeed, knowing what the other seniors did to help them, that's going to rub off on them. They're able to pass that forward when they get to that age. But we talked with Steve Rollick and some of the players yesterday. You mentioned that, and he gave me an answer here, but I want to hear yours, because this is a major weekend for Ohio State, including the aforementioned senior night on Thursday. We get some new uniforms for the face-off on the lake and the outdoor game in an NFL stadium. Huge, huge stadium. You and I are both very, very familiar with First Energy Stadium. How do the Buckeyes stay grounded and focused on earning these crucial Big Ten points rather than just getting caught up in the bright lights and excitement?
Well, they're just going to have to do what they do each game and each game out. Do what they have to do to just win games, and that is get pucks on net. They are top 2 in the conference in shots on goal. They're aggressive. They get to the net, and they continue to pressure goaltenders. Also, when they get down on power plays and they have to kill penalties, that is what they do best. They have the top penalty kill unit nationally. So for them to break this 3-way tie for the 3rd spot in the Big Ten and to try and take a series sweep against your arch rivals, Ohio State's just going to have to do what they've done all year. Continue to get a high volume of shots and kill penalties and convert on the power play and take advantage of the opportunities that they've been given.
The 2023 face-off on the lake at First Energy Stadium is Saturday at 4 p.m. on Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio and SGSR TV. We'll be up on location in Cleveland. And I got to tell you, Tyler, as another person, I know you'll relate to this, growing up a Browns fan, so did I. This is going to be really cool to call a game from the stadium that we've been in so much as fans, means so much to us as NFL fans here. This is going to be a fantastic experience, not just for the players, but for us broadcasting as well.
Oh my gosh, it's just going to be so awesome. Like a total full circle moment. It's so cool to be a part of this. Just from an historical standpoint, the first ever hockey game in the history of First Energy Stadium, a building that's been around since 1999, and they're playing hockey games all weekend long. It's just going to be a tremendous weekend, and let's just hope we get a fantastic game. We have cold enough weather to play on the rink, which I have no doubt that we will have. It's going to be an awesome weekend with you guys.
I don't know if you've ever been to Cleveland, but that lake chill keeps it pretty cold during the game. I don't think we'll have problem holding up with some ice out there.
For those not familiar with First Energy Stadium or with Cleveland, I mean, the stadium, Caleb, is right on the lake. In fact, the parking lots where you park to the right of the stadium, they are about 50 to 100 feet off the lake. I mean, you can see the sand from the beach, and I say quote unquote beach, but you can see Lake Erie right off the parking lot where you park to get to First Energy Stadium. So you are right on Lake Erie.
It's right on the lake. When they say face off on the lake, Tyler, they definitely mean it in the case of First Energy Stadium. But let's switch over to an indoor sport that should be significantly less chilly than the Saturday hockey game here, and that's men's basketball. The Buckeyes fell at home once again, 62-41 against Michigan State on Sunday. Ohio State has now lost 9 of their last 10 games going back to January 12th against Michigan. Their lone win in that stretch came on January 21st against Iowa. They have been 0-6 since that victory. Things are certainly dire up at the Schottenstein Center for Chris Holtmann and his squad. Ohio State is firmly out of recent March Madness predictions. They're not in the first 4. They're not in the first 8. And there are concerns among fans, and I think they're getting substantiated here about even qualifying for the NCAA tournament, let alone the NIT. What, as you see it, is the highest ceiling that Ohio State can make it if they stay on this current trajectory?
Well, if we're going to say highest ceiling, I'm going to compare it to Patrick Ewing's Georgetown team as of 2 years ago in 2021, where they were the last seed in the Big East Conference tournament. They won every single game they played in. They got an automatic bid as a result, and they made the NCAA tournament. That's the highest ceiling for this Ohio State team right now. They're way under 500. Things aren't going well right now. They need to win every single game in the Big Ten tournament. They need to win the Big Ten tournament, thus an automatic bid in the NCAA tournament. And if they can't do that, then it's most likely NIT or bust.
And then you have 2 big opportunities here to get a test of that aforementioned Big Ten tournament that you were talking about. You have Iowa on Thursday at Iowa City, 9 o'clock on ESPN2. And you also have then at Purdue on Sunday, 1 p.m. on CBS, and Scarlet and Gray Sports Radio will have a crew there at MHKY Arena. These are 2 teams that, one, Ohio State's beaten before, and number 2, in the case of Purdue, was a top-ranked team when they came into Columbus, and the Buckeyes almost got them there, which shows me that Ohio State is capable of performing with, I would call these teams 2 of the best that the Big Ten has to offer, but they're capable of hanging in there. They're capable of pulling out a victory if they're able to play their game, if they're not, going to rush through stuff, if they stay away from the 3-point shot, if it's not going early. I think that's been the biggest thing for them so far through here, is trying to get the 3-point shot early and just continuing to stubbornly keep firing it when it doesn't hit. But this is a good spot, Tyler, to rank where you are in the Big Ten, not in terms necessarily of standing, but in terms of talent, caliber, and skill.
You're playing for seeding in the Big Ten tournament right now. There's no doubt about it. You're absolutely right, Caleb. And how about this? Kind of furthering your point, Ohio State, 9 of their 11 conference losses in a deep Big Ten conference slate have been by single digits. So they're playing everybody tough for the most part. They just haven't been able to come out on top. That Purdue game, they played against number 1 Purdue, and they were number 24, and not to get too ahead of ourselves, but they were a turnover and a Fletcher Lawyer 3 away from beating the top-ranked team in the country. So they're getting there. And when they play Iowa come Thursday night at Carver Arena in Iowa City, they just need to do what they did against the Hawkeyes. They need to hit their shots. They need to get those offensive sets. They got to run the floor. And Ice Likely, who had an 18-point, 10-rebound, double-double game against the Hawkeyes in Columbus, he's going to need to really run this offense and kind of command the point alongside Bruce Thornton to make sure Ohio State can just run Iowa into the ground and secure a victory.
Let's move into our newest segment here, talking about our Buckeye stickers of the week to give out. I know you have a player this time. I have a team in mind. I'm going to ask your forgiveness when I do mine here, but let's start off with your sticker of the week.
I'm going to give it to sophomore shortstop Cammy Quartercracks of the softball team. Ohio State, they went 2-2 last weekend down in Orlando, Florida. They beat UMass. They beat Boise State. They fell to top 10 Georgia and UCF. But Cammy Quartercracks had herself a heck of a start to the sophomore year. She started in every single game last year as a shortstop alongside Caitlin Farley, another freshman last year at second base. Quartercrack started off sophomore year with a bang. She went 6 for 12 with 3 doubles. Great to see softball started. They play Notre Dame and Clemson this weekend in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. Also, baseball getting the Bill Mosiello era started this weekend in Port Charlotte, Florida, against a very good UConn team that made the NCAA Super Regionals last year.
Tyler, your ability to read my mind never ceases to amaze me, because I was going to ask for your forgiveness here to give, if I could give my sticker to 2 teams, and it was going to be softball and baseball. But then here you come, rolling in here, and then stealing the thunder from both of those teams. So, I'm not mad. I'm disappointed, which arguably is even worse. No, I'm kidding. Ohio State softball and baseball definitely deserve the stickers this week. So, you know what? All you're doing is saving me words by getting to them before I did. So, that'll do it for us here on the Ohio State of Mind. Alongside Tyler Danburg, I'm Caleb Spinner. We'll see you next Friday. But until then, that's the show. We're out of here.